Toss up one, literature. To make up for killing Otter, the deity took all of Anvari's gold. He fled from Thaisi after transforming Idun into a nut, and his other escapades include losing an eating contest to fire. The entrails of his son Narfi were used to bind him in a cave after he gave a spear of mistletoe to the blind god Hoder and duped him into killing Balder. For 10 points, name this trickster god of Norse mythology. Toss up 2, literature. One character in this work holds a boxing contest between Dares and Encleus as part of the activities in honor of his late father. Characters in this work include the swift Camellia and the villain Turnus, who is aggravated by the protagonist's courtship to Lavinia. This poem's title character abandons Dido to go to Italy. For 10 points, name this epic about the founding of Rome by Virgil. Toss up number 3, social studies. Henry Green and Pelatia Fordham claimed to discover this vessel first. Through Thomas Gedney, commander of the USS Washington, took it to Connecticut and filed a suit for salvage of its cargo. A few days out of Havana, the cook Celestino was killed after Cinque used an iron file to free himself and take over the ship. For 10 points, the slaves on what Spanish ship were freed in an 1841 case? Toss up number 4, fine arts. This architect created a church with cube-based plan of two buildings linked by a lobby, which was built solely with reinforced concrete and which was named the Unity Temple. He received complaints regarding the white cylindrical floors of increasing size in his Guggenheim Museum and built a house for Edward Kaufman overlooking a waterfall. For 10 points, name this American architect who designed Falling Water. Toss up number 5. Reactions with negative values for this quantity require reactants to lie within a potential well. It can be found by plotting 1 over temperature against the rate constant, a relationship described by the Arrhenius equation. Substances that lower their value are called catalysts. For 10 points, name this minimum amount of energy that must be added to a chemical reaction for it to proceed. Toss up number 6, math. The theorem named for this operation states that for two any integers a and b, there exist unique integers q and r, such that r is less than q and a equals q times b plus r. It can be represented by the obelisk symbol, and it can be done synthetically with polynomials. The log of this operation applied to a and b equals log a minus log b. For 10 points, name this opposite of multiplication. Toss up number 7, social studies. In 1968, the Evangelical United Brethren merged with this other Protestant denomination, of which Thomas Coke was the first bishop. In the 18th century, its preachers included George Whitefield. Its initial liturgy was derived from the 1662 edition of the Book of Common Prayer, and many hymns were written by Charles, its founder's brother. For 10 points, name this offshoot of Anglicanism founded by John Wesley.
Toss up number 8, miscellaneous. One character in this film is unable to confirm rumors of an epidemic to Dr. Smirslov, Another loses its memory while singing the song Daisy Bell. A match cut in this film cuts from a spinning bone to a satellite as the Blue Danube Waltz plays. I'm afraid I can't do that, is the response to Dave's request to open the pod bay doors, Hal. In for 10 points, what Stanley Kubrick sci-fi epic written with Arthur C. Clarke? Toss-up number 9, science. Materials exhibiting this phenomenon can produce the crackling sounds of the Barkhausen effect during realignments of microscopic regions described by Peter Wise. Those regions of aligned spin which give rise to this effect are known as domains. This effect disappears at the Curie point, above which is replaced by paramagnetism. For 10 points, name this type of magnetism exhibited by nickel and iron. Toss-up number 10, science. The transverse form of this effect was observed in an experiment conducted by Ives and Stilwell. Measurements of spectral lines affected by this phenomenon are used to estimate distances to quasars using Hubble's law. In that technique, this effect acts on light from receding objects, producing redshifts. For 10 points, name this effect, the shift in frequency of waves received from moving sources. Toss-up number 11, mathematics. Pencil and paper ready. Cynthia needs to compute the area of a regular hexagon whose sides each have a length of 6. She begins by dividing the hexagon into 6 equilateral triangles, and then uses either Heron's formula or the properties of 30, 60, 90 triangles to compute the area of one of the triangles. Use any method to find, for 10 points, the area of a regular hexagon whose side length is 6. Toss-up number 12, social studies. After this ruler concluded the Truce of Doilino with Poland, his imprisoned father, Patriarch Filaret, gained control of the government. This man had been elected by the Zemski-Sobar boyars in 1613, after which he returned from the exile imposed by Boris Godunov. For 10 points, the time of troubles ended with the election of what Russian Tsar, who was the first of a royal house that ruled until 1917. Toss-up number 13, literature. In this play, Ceres and Juno are summoned by a character who earlier took the form of Harpy. A drunken Stephano finds Trinculo with a moon calf in this play, in which hedgehogs torment the son of the witch Sycorax. The spirit Ariel and misshapen Caliban serve the magician father of Miranda in. For 10 points, what Shakespeare work in which Ferdinand is shipwrecked on an island after Prospero summons the tidal storm? Toss-up number 14, literature. This novel's protagonist threatens to choke McWatt, who accidentally kills Kid Sampson before committing suicide by crashing into a mountain. An IBM machine bestows an erroneous promotion in this novel in which Egypt's entire cotton crop is bought by the syndicate of Milo Minderbinder. The number of air missions Yossari and has to fly is constantly increased in, for 10 points, what novel by Joseph Heller? Toss-up number 15, mathematics. Manipulating the expression lambda I minus a yields the characteristic polynomials of these structures. To solve a system of linear equations, one can put an associated one of these structures into row echelon form. Expressions such as AD minus BC can be used to find the determinants of square ones. For 10 points, name these mathematical constructs that arrange numbers in rows and columns. Toss-up number 16, social studies. Adherents of this religion believe that humanity dwells in Mahyaluka, or the middle realm. They view time as divided into two cycles, the Avasarpini and the Utsarpini, and believe in a line of teachers that began with the Rishabha, and consists of 24 individuals known as Tirthankaras. For 10 points, name this religion in which the principle of ahimsa or nonviolence is critical, which was founded by Mahavira. Toss-up number 17, mathematics. Pencil and paper ready. A circle has its center at the point 3, 1, and Carrie needs to find the slope of the line that is tangent to the circle at the point 8, 2. She remembers that the tangent line is perpendicular to the radius it intersects, and that the slopes of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocals of each other. For 10 points, find the slope of the tangent line to the circle 8, 2. Toss-up number 18, mathematics. Pencil and paper ready. Liz needs to find the cubic polynomial whose roots are x equals 4, x equals 5, and x equals 6. She thus realizes that the cubic can be written as quantity x minus 4 times quantity x minus 5 times quantity x minus 6. By multiplying everything out, keeping track of signs, and collecting like terms, she computes, for 10 points, what cubic whose roots are 4, 5, and 6.
Toss-up 19, science. Nacreous clouds aid chlorine production in this atmospheric layer where blue jet lightning forms. Cyclone-producing raspy waves flow in this layer where jet airplanes typically travel. The emission of CFCs has contributed to the depletion of ozone in the upper part of this layer beneath the mesosphere. For 10 points, name this atmospheric layer that, after the troposphere, is second nearest to the Earth.
Toss-up number 20, Fine Arts. In Act 2 of this opera, children gather in the streets to see the toy seller Parpignol. Arias in this opera include Quadamenvo and Vecchia Zimara. Colline sings the latter when he pawns his coat. Alcindoro is in relationship with Musetta, who sells her earrings when this opera's heroine contracts tuberculosis. For 10 points, name the Giacomo Puccini opera about Rodolfo and Mimi. Toss-up number 21, literature. This man's necktie is asserted by a simple pin, and he considers whether he could have squeezed the universe into a ball. He compares himself to an attendant lord and claims he is not Prince Hamlet nor was meant to be. He has heard the mermaid sing, but does not think that they will sing to him. For 10 points, name this man who wonders, do I dare eat a peach, and who narrates a love song written by T.S. Eliot. Toss-up number 22, Fine Arts. This composer wrote a work that ends with the title character riding into hell on a horse and includes the Rakoczy March. He wrote a work for viola for Nicola Paganini, who rejected it. This composer of The Damnation of Faust and Harold in Italy dedicated a work to Harriet Smithson that includes an idée fixe in movements like March to the Scaffold. For 10 points, name this French composer of Symphonie Fantastique. Toss-up number 23, Social studies. Increasing the money supply fails to lower this quantity during a liquidity trap. This quantity, which is plotted against the real GDP in the IS/LM model, comes in nominal and real types related to the Fisher equation. For transactions between banks and the Federal Reserve, it is called the discount rate. Favors consumers are charged its prime type. For 10 points, name this rate indicating the price of borrowing money. Toss-up number 24, science. High population densities in bacteria cause a dramatic increase in the rate of this process through quorum sensing. In eukaryotes, this process begins when a pre-initiation complex binds to the TATA box of a promoter region, in E. coli. It can be controlled by the lac operon. For 10 points, name this process catalyzed by RNA polymerase that produces messenger RNA from a DNA template.